All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. It is quad witching slash triple witching day, a day of historical volatility in which all four major contract types expire today, September 20th. We'll see what happens. We don't always get volatility on quad witching day or triple witching day. Again, the reason they used to call it quad witching is because, there used to be all four major like finance option types or contract types, meaning index options, so like the S&P 500 options, index futures, so like the Nasdaq 100 futures, the S&P 500 futures, the E-mini, they expire today. You got to roll over those, as well as single stock options, so like Apple options, Tesla options, stuff like that. Those all expire today. They used to call it quad witch because there used to be a thing called stock futures. So like I used to be able to day trade Apple futures, and it wasn't the actual stock. And there's actually no PDT rule in the futures market, right? So like you were actually able to day trade some of these with no PDT rule, and all four would expire the same day. It's a famous day in the stock market, and it happens 4 times a year. Today is one of those days, quad witching day. Again, honestly, the Nasdaq is down a little bit, but we're not getting any major stuff today. I mean, we are gapping down. We kind of gave back all the gains that we made yesterday. Here is the Nasdaq NVDA charts. So we got those. When I'm gonna know you miss me. Let me put some music on. You should be able to hear the music. Yeah, so again, we also had the rate decision overseas. What did Japan end up doing for the Bank of Japan? Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I'm gonna remove this. I don't know what happened. We lagged a little bit, but we're back. So the Bank of Japan paused rates. Sound check. You should be able to hear me again. We lagged a little bit. I'm not sure what it was. Let me. We'll get this up. I haven't shared my screen yet. I gotta remove this one. It's weird. Y'all can hear me though. Y'all can see me, right? We should be good to go. There we go. Okay, good. Did it lag a little bit for you guys or something? I don't know what just happened. Yeah, there it goes. It fixed. Weird, man. All right, we're back. What are you scared of, dude? All right, look at NVIDIA. So we get NVIDIA. Dude, why is my computer lagging up so much? I'm going to have to exit out of some stuff here, dude. I usually try to restart my computer at least once. But it's been a minute since I did, and, There we go. Look at the lag here, dude. It's weird. Oh, there we go. We had toss. Had to reconnect. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to exit out of a lot of stuff and just try to let my computer heal right now. I don't know what's going on with it. Boom. Yeah, so Bank of Japan paused rates, which is probably optimistic. I think some people probably pushing them for cuts. So Wall Street looks to pause after the S&P 500 rate performance. Market moves appears to have soured as the index futures slid early this morning. It's expected to be volatile. It's triple witching. Could be a lack of incentive for buys. Could be, triple witching day. We don't really know what the cause of that is. Yeah. Every time we have quad witch fear. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Mitch? Yeah, Mitch will probably hop on a little bit later. The gold guy? Which gold guy? There's a couple gold guys showing up. Yeah, I would get you on right now, Mitch, but I'm lagging right now, dude. And it's not just toss, it's literally everything. So like StreamYard just kind of disconnected for a second. I had to refresh it. And so I don't know if it's my internet. Sometimes like I'm going to disconnect my Wi-Fi. All right, so I just disconnected my Wi-Fi and now I'm letting pure Ethernet cord run it, but I think you guys can probably see my stream's a little off. Look at this. Usually I can go like this. GameStop under 20 bucks. Here's the SPY. Nah. Yeah, my kids aren't up right now. It's 6:30 in the morning, Texas time. FedEx tanked. Hey, what's up? You think the market will be bullish? I really have no idea. Bank of Japan looking to hike and not cut, right? Hike in December, I think. I don't know. I have to look. I don't know. Like what they. I know the Bank of Japan calls the yen carry drama. All right, so yeah, the Bank of Japan paused rates at 0.25%. Let me see if I can have AI. Like AI is pretty good, but it's not great, right? It's not accurate sometimes, you know. All right, guys. So all right, so again, let's see how good AI is. I'm curious because I'm wondering if it's affecting the stock market today. All right, so on September 19th, the Bank of Japan made its decision to leave its key short-term interest rate unchanged, maintaining it at minus 0.1%. This decision was widely expected as part of its ongoing ultra-loose monetary policy. Basically, like they want a low interest rate environment, and you can see they're maintaining it at minus 0.1%. They also retained its yield curve control policy, targeting the 10-year government bond yield at around 0%, with the ceiling on the yield set at 1%. It comes as inflation in Japan remains moderate, and the bank continues to balance between domestic economic recovery and managing inflation inflation pressures. The governor over there signaled a cautious approach to policy change, indicating that while inflation expectations were rising modestly, the bank was not in a rush to tighten monetary policy, and the Bank of Japan acknowledged potential weakness in the economy there, particularly in terms of consumer spending and inflation volatility due to foreign exchange market fluctuations. The tone was one of vigilance, particularly regarding how financial markets and a weakening yen might impact their economy over there. In terms of long-term rates, the Bank of Japan is allowing yields on the 10-year JGB to rise above 1% if necessary, making a more flexible approach compared to the earlier cap of 0.5%. This adjustment is partly aimed at mitigating pressure on the yen and managing import costs, which could rise further if the economy weakens from there, right? So, okay, so that's it. Update on it. One of the things you notice, and you know, I talked to I have this guy that I train with. His name's JB. He's from South Korea. One of the things you notice is that people, like the U.S. market is something that a lot of people watch, right? And they watch it because rates are so good here. We can get guaranteed 3, 4, 5% interest rates almost all the time. Like we're almost never getting under that. All right, yeah, and I'm curious. So 1-year Treasury bond, the average yield is 2 to 2.5%, and just a 1-year bond. It's short term. A 10-year Treasury bond has been roughly 2.5 to 3% over the past 20 years. 20-year, you're going to get at least 3 to 3.5% usually. And you know, when you hear about this yield curve that people talk about, right? What they're talking about, you hear people say, "Oh, the yield curve inversion, the yield curve inversion." What they're really talking about is, in theory, right, if you think about risk reward in bonds, right, bonds are loaning the U.S. government, specifically Treasury bonds are loaning the U.S. government money, and then, they're going to pay you a specific interest rate, and that's the yield that we're talking about. It's just what they'll pay you, right? So if you loan the U.S. government $100K and the yield is 3%, they're going to pay you $3K a year until that bond matures, whenever that is. If it's a 10-year bond, it'll mature in 10 years, and you'll make $3K a year for 10 years, and then you'll get your $100K back. And so the yield curve inversion in terms of all this is risk reward being unbalanced, right? Risk reward being unbalanced is what the yield curve inversion actually is. So when you hear the yield curve inversion, what it really means, again, is short-term bonds, which in theory should pay less because there's less risk there, right? Like, it's short-term. You don't have to loan money for a long time. Like, you can loan money for 3, 4, 5 months and get in theory a shorter yield, like a smaller interest payment, versus loaning the government money for 10 years, which in theory should give you a much higher interest rate because it's more risky. Why is it more risky? Because over 10 years, inflation is going to go up so much that, you might lose money doing that. If inflation is drastic in terms of like evenness, you might lose money from inflation, right? So, or at least lose buying power. Gold bull run, all-time high after all-time high this morning. Really? Yeah, I mean, and this is great, but again, when I'm buying gold, like, and again, I'm happy if you made money on it. I really am. It doesn't, like, making, what is this? Making $20, like a share of gold, basically, $20 an ounce of gold. It's not worth the risk for me right now. So even if it's breaking highs, and that's great, I think I'm concerned about gold correcting. And I've said this. And again, I don't think this is set in stone at all. I could be wildly wrong here, and I might be, right? But gold has been upward trending for years. I'm scared it's going to start downtrending for years. And again, that's probably when I'll start buying up. Like, I'm kind of a contrarian in that way, where I'd rather buy weak stuff than buy strong stuff. Especially if it's something that's overall strong to begin with, right? If it's Apple or Amazon or Google or Walmart or gold or the S&P 500, I want to buy in moments of weakness, not strength, because I have bought strength too many times and gotten like dumped on. And so that's kind of the logic I use there. Yeah. Well, Bitcoin's good, but Bitcoin's long-term and short-term volatile. You know. So Bitcoin is like a DCA. Like there's a lot of stuff that like is good long-term that I like that I have no freaking idea short-term. Check out my algo though, bro. My algo looks pretty nice. I don't know what this music is, guys. I'm sorry. This is just a playlist. I'm just going by all the music they have. I think this is Christmas music. Yeah. Yeah, Dumb Money's great. Great movie. It's really, honestly, it's super relatable for me. Obviously, it would be relatable. I streamed during that period of time when Dumb Money was going on. That's where my channel got big. And you know, Roar and Kitty obviously is a lot cooler than me. You know, for sure, definitely top 3 coolest people ever. But I certainly can relate to it because I do exactly what he does, which is I go into my office, tackle on my computer, and interact with the internet and the stock market. I talk about good things, bad things, you know, like it's super relatable. Today I have no clue what the market will do. I'll just watch today. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel too. I have no freaking idea. It's quad witch day, triple witching, whatever we want to call it. All right, so here's NVIDIA. Again, NVIDIA is still moving the market, very sideways and choppy. No, I didn't listen to it. Yeah, I didn't listen to it. I'm not really a big speech guy. Let me get Mitch on here. Flat day, in my opinion, I'll probably go opposite of the morning trend. Quad witching is a day where technically it's triple witching. All 3 major contract types in finance expire today. Again, single stock options like Apple options, index futures, so like S&P 500 futures, Nasdaq futures, and then index options, so like S&P 500 or Nasdaq options, right? They all expire today. It's a day of unknown historical volatility. You know, we got to roll over our future contracts today if we trade futures. Hope it stays up for open. Maybe. We'll see. All right, guys. Yeah, so they expire simultaneously. Stock options can be exercised or roll over before they expire at market close, which is around 4 p.m. Stock index options also expire at the end of the day today. So it's all at 4 p.m. mostly for everything. So everything at 4 p.m. today expires. And so, but it's what's going to happen during market hours is the big thing. What's going to happen during actual market hours. What's up, Mitch? How you doing,
What's
bro?
up? What's up,
dude?
How we doing?
Doing good, bro. Doing good, dude. So how's that? I saw that trade worked out for you that we talked about. So I was on Mitch's show. I think I told you guys I was going on Trade the Pool. I was on Mitch's show. I saw he made some money on the trade. Let me see what he did. Mitch is actually buying the VIX, or were you shorting it?
I was buying the VIX.
Buying the VIX.
On that
Nice.
day.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was a little bit of a step up, right? Wasn't a bad little step up. And I think that's the important thing is trying to size up. And one of the things in sizing up is that you got to try to find stocks that don't move as much, right? Because the truth is that as you get bigger in size, you don't go towards the 100% movers, right? Because the truth is that you're just opening yourself up to more risk.
Hold on, wait. There's an echo. It says they're saying it's an echo, horrible echo. My bad.
Right. I noticed it too, but I was wondering if it was on my side. But
Yeah, let me know. So let me know. Did it go away now? I muted my background music. Sometimes that'll fix it. Like I know with the crypto show, sometimes that fixes it. So it could just
Testing,
be
testing. 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Mic
yeah.
check. 2, 1, 2.
Okay, it fixed it. Okay, I know what it was. It was it could be just you coming out of my headphones. I've got the old school AirPods on, right? And
Well,
so
I'll tell you guys
maybe
right now, guys. At least I'm in a trade already, guys, and I'll
yeah.
tell you it. And I won't be a cherry picker. I'll tell you it when it's in the red here, right? TNON, penny stock or small cap, let's say. Right now, long at 688. Got 400 shares. Looking for a little pop above 7 here to get through the 750s and then go through 8. So definitely a bigger upside outlook, but this is a morning stock that was already kind of getting a little lift here. And what makes me look at it now is that it just finally crossed the MACD on the 5-minute. One of the things I've been looking at is these top movers in the morning. A really good sweet spot is between like 6 and 6:30. That's one thing I'll just give you guys insight on. Lately, I've been seeing that the sweet spot. But what you're kind of looking at in the morning is you're looking to see not only the percentage up, right? Percentage up is a good thing to see, right? But then what I start to look at, and you can use different scanners for this, guys. This is a strategy that has been working. And that's looking at that's relative volume on the 5-minute basis. So do a scanner, right, that puts all the movers there, then put a 5-minute percentage change, and just wait till you see something pop up like 10, 15, 20%. So start showing you that it's moving. That's going to give you that it's a gapper, that it's moving, and then the last thing to kind of verify is going to be your volume. So you want to make sure that it's at least trading close to 1 million shares. That's what's going to really be the help. Here we go. TNON now approaching that 7. I'm up about $46 already. I got 688, right? 400 shares. Looking for that pop above 750s. Really, I'd take some off at 750, looking for the 8 move. But, we'll have some fun. Let's see if this really wants to get going. Next spot is 750 and then 8 if we can really get going here.
Yeah, so here's TNON right here on the middle chart if you guys want to watch it. Over that 200 EMA, that's always good,
Yeah, and of course, with the pre-market volume, I'm not going to go insane, right? And that's one of the things that also always keep in mind is that whenever you're trading in the pre-market, you can't go as big as sizing as you normally would in the open market because essentially you have that less liquidity situation, right? And you can't just set stops and things like that, so you always got to keep that in mind.
Right, slippage and just little worse fills, all that stuff everywhere.
Yeah. Like 400 shares is actually a decent size here for kind of a pre-market trade. I usually try to stay, especially in these smaller caps, towards like 100 to 200 shares because believe it or not, these love to run, like $2, and there's nothing wrong with getting a nice little $400 cushion to open the market with. And I know that you've talked about that a lot, John, and I've caught you talk about that on stream, about having cushions and how to use that.
Yeah, man. It's always good to like build a cushion and like let it, traders spiral out of control sometimes. It's normal. In poker, it's called tilt, right? You go on tilt, you get frustrated, you try to win your money back. And in trading, the same thing happens. And I notice one of the things that combats tilt a little bit, like kind of spiraling out of control and frustration, is having some profit already, and trading small until you build up that profit. And it works. It makes sense. Like I use it a lot on like Top Step, right? I'll build up a cushion first part of the day. And then once I have that cushion, then it's much less likely I'm going to spiral out of control. If I lose, then I'm back to break even. It's not the end of the world. I can scale back down my size, try to build up more profit. But if I win, then I can kind of grind up more and more money. And so that way, if I lose, or if I'm in small size and I lose money, and I continue to lose, it's usually a relatively small loss, but if I can build up a small profit with small size, then I scale up my size afterwards. And then once I scale up my size, if I make more money, then I've got a pretty big win on the day. But if I lose, I'm trading small size. I'm usually just walking away instead of risking more and more. And so it kind of allows you to scale into the day versus just kind of going really, really big, taking these big trades at the very beginning and getting frustrated.
Yeah, so of course, that's the habits, right? The habits that we do to get ourselves to success. And that's the next biggest thing that I've been focusing on, is just thinking about trading in more of habits, right? And trying to change your habits, not just in trading, but overall in life, right? Recently read a book, Atomic Habits, right? If you guys haven't read that book, I would definitely suggest it, even if you get it in an audible form. And for any reason, if you need it, hey, reach out to me. We can talk about it. I think it's very important to start realizing that we all have goals, right? In trading, right? We all have goals. We all want success. We all want to get to this certain end goal. But what we don't realize is, how do we get to that end goal, right? And what gets us there, right? At the end of the day, it's habits and process, right? I know that you're a big fan of a processed approach, John. So that's one thing that I've noticed more and more. Are we really committing to the right habits to get us to that success, right? And I think that traders, you guys can take moments, right? Write down what are the good habits that you're doing and what are the bad habits that you're doing in trading. And just start trying to twist around those bad habits one at a time, right? 100%. Because you're not going to flip, like, you're not going to change your whole world in 1 week, right? But you can focus on one thing. Just this one thing I want to do better this week. And that's already changed my trading vast in the last 6 weeks. So I would say definitely think about this, things about moments like this. What are you doing right and what are you doing wrong? And then strengthening those things in each way.
Right, for sure. Yeah, so I see a lot of people asking about what triple witching day.
Triple witching, quad witching, baby.
So there's no such thing as stock option or single stock futures anymore. Is why. So it used to be quad. It used to be quad witch, right? And this is because you had stock futures. So you used to be able to trade Apple futures, which would have been really dope. I would love if they still allowed to do that, because there's no PDT in futures, right? So you used to be able to trade Apple futures, Tesla futures, whatever it was. And I remember this day. I remember penny stocks would have futures, and they would be going. Like, they would be wild, right? The futures market and some of those things went wild. I think it was like 3 years ago they got rid of them. So there's no such thing as stock futures anymore. And so now, even though I still call it quad witch, now it's still technically triple witching day, because it's single stock options, so like Tesla options, it's index futures, so like S&P 500 futures, like what I trade on Top Step, and then it's index options, like S&P 500 option contracts. They all expire at 4 p.m. today, and it's a day of just big volatility. It's not always that, but it's generally a pretty good day of volatility. The other thing I wanted to show you.
One of the things also is that the unwind, right? It's the unwind, right? Just think about it like that, right? One of the things is at this day, traders got to make a decision. Do they roll or close the position, right? And that's another thing, right? And so I think that what happens on days like today is you can get a flip completely of psychology into the overall market. And I think that that's the most important thing. And I also talked about it this morning with FedEx report, right? FedEx report's getting hit hard. FedEx is a lot of times viewed as a bellwether for the economy and for the market overall. So that big hit is putting a big scare in a lot of investors this morning, which could help that, that triple witch start to Well, they could start switching to more of a bearish position, right? And I think that Tom Lee, and I'll talk about this on my show a little bit more too, but Tom Lee was on CNBC, and you know how Tom Lee is the biggest bull out there, right? Sure. I mean, he's like, he's insanely bullish, guys. Even he is being a tamed bull here. So, of course, he's still bullish, but he's like, I don't know if we need to be jumping too quickly before the elections. Right. Because before the elections, we're going to still have that uncertainty. After the elections, we'll have a little bit more certainty to play. And then, yes, we could maybe look for some upside approach. I thought that was very smart by Tom Lee. And I know that I hit him a lot for his, let's say, overly optimistic approach sometimes. But that was a good comment there. And I think it's very wise, because the market right now is not moving with logic, nor does it ever do. But
no,
I
not always.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, not always. Like, it's the market's tough. Like, I think, like, everybody makes fun of me for being too bullish too, but like, I always try to just preface everything I say with, a crash could happen anytime, right? Like a crash could, in theory, happen anytime. The real question is, do we hit a recession? And I think that's a deeper question that has a lot of nuance behind it. I think interest rates are going to go down. The ultimate question, if you want to see whether we're going to hit a recession or not, what you have to ask yourself is the Fed's decision to cut rates too late? If they cut rates too late, if they should have cut rates 6 months ago, because there's a lag, at least 6 months usually, for things to really be influenced by these rate decisions, like which we had on Wednesday. The real question is, was it in time? You know, if you don't think it was in time, if you think we should have cut rates 6 months ago, then, you know, in theory, the economic weakness that we've seen over the last month or two with like lower payroll numbers, unemployment spiking, could continue. And if that continues, people lose confidence. It kind of starts like this domino-like effect. But if you think that the Fed pivoting to 50 basis points, and again, I talked about this Wednesday, the Fed's plan, at least what they said, is that they're going to do 50 basis points on this Wednesday. So they're cutting it by a half a percentage point. And then the next meeting in 6 weeks, they're going to do a 25 basis point. And then they're going to do another 25 basis point. So by the end of the year, they're going to cut it by a full percentage point, interest rates. Now, in theory, bringing these interest rates down should stimulate the economy, right? And help us avoid a recession if you think it was in time, right? Because by bringing interest rates down, everybody has cheaper access to lending. Like lending's cheaper, you get less interest, they take out more loans, they spend more money, and it stimulates the economy. And that's why they do it. But who knows if it was in time? And the stock market is a completely different animal. Like when we look at crash predictions in the stock market, I think what you got to hyper focus on is NVIDIA and microchips, right? NVIDIA microchips been leading the market for years now. They're up obscene amounts. They're up ridiculous percentages. And the question is, does it hold? You know, I've said it once, I'll say it again. If we do crash, I think it's going to look something like NVIDIA falling down to like $60, $70, $80 a share. The rest of the entire market panicking on that downward pressure, unloading their positions, and it kind of causing this spiral domino effect of negative momentum. That's the most plausible theory for a crash, I think, is just overextension in microchips. But if we look at the other end of that, right, I always try to bring this up. So if we look at NVIDIA EPS, like their margins, right, NVIDIA EPS, if you look at their margins have gone up since this big bull run in AI. So if you look at NVIDIA EPS in terms of their margins here, we can use this website. I always like to use, it's called Macro Trends. Their margins have gotten pretty good over the last few years. And so while NVIDIA's price has been pushing up, their earnings have been, you know, going up exponentially as well. And their revenue, if we look at revenue,
you can also see it in the price to forward earnings, right? They're really not that bad.
Sure.
And NVIDIA's found the way to make the revenue for the growth, right? That's there, right? And that's a big part of what you're pointing at. I think that the number one thing here that I think that we really need to be thinking about is, what's the next wave in technology, right? Sure. And yes, it has to do with AI, right? I think we all know that, right? But one thing I point to, and I point to this because a professor taught me this, right? Not myself. Wise words from others are usually better, right? So he always said, look at the underlying asset when you're thinking about technologies or a big trade, right? And so in this case, NVIDIA made sense to be the first one to really take off, right? Because it's the underlying asset. It's how the infrastructure for AI will be built, right? And so that's already happened. So at this point, I think that looking at just NVIDIA for upside, I think you're asking for too much from NVIDIA. At some point, the infrastructure is going to get built out, and then there's not that much demand anymore, right? So I would look at what's going to be used on those infrastructure. So you look at data plays. That's why you're seeing Amazon, Microsoft, all these companies jumping in to build data sources and things like that. Today's news, CEG, right? CEG talking about partnering up with Microsoft to build kind of data sources and things like that. But what is it? It's nuclear reactors. So I'll give you guys a play that I'm talking about, and I've been talking about it on my show, which is NNE and SMR, which are nuclear reactor plays. So you can look at those right now. Those are starting to get a little bit of a jump on the daily. We've been looking at these on the show.
So you said NNE and then what's the other
NNE and SMR.
SMR, gotcha.
And so this is an actual theme type of play. Nuclear reactors, small nuclear reactors, right?
And look at them. Look at the long-term trend. The daily chart looks good, or at least on SMR. Yeah, and then NNE looks like it's a pretty new company. So it recently IPO'd, but it's not a terrible chart either. It's not a
Yeah.
bad chart. Big
No.
waves, big trends, and now it's kind of at the bottom of the range. And so technicals wise, it doesn't look horrible.
And it's interesting because so the way that they're thinking about it is for AI, right? All this data, it needs to be powered by something, right? And
Sure.
we've slowly gotten away from the 100 acres of solar power.
Sure. Yeah.
So we're going more to small nuclear reactors. So
Yeah.
you're going to see companies like this, smaller companies, or in this case, like CEG, and you can take a look at that company today too, really getting a spike on this, is that you're going to see mentions with smaller companies mentioning bigger companies, partnerships with those nuclear reactors. The first one to do this one was Oracle. Oracle put in their earnings report multiple mentions of that they were going to use nuclear reactors to continue building up their data centers. And I thought that was a really interesting added bonus in the earnings report because they didn't need to add that in there. They pretty much were giving you insight of what they see moving forward and how they can move and grow their data centers, right? Worry about, of course, energy and kind of keep those expenses down. How do they do that? They move and they push further and further into nuclear energy.
100%.
And so this is one way that I see the next wave of AI coming as they build the infrastructure cloud, right? All the data centers. And then eventually the move has to be autonomous, has to be robotics.
100%. 100%.
It has to be, right, John?
I
mean,
it
Tesla,
genuinely does.
October 10 is coming soon.
100%. And I'm curious about whether they're going to actually accomplish it. I think I talked to you about it before, but the robotaxi event even is coming out pretty soon. Next month is when the robotaxi event is. And of course, I always cover all these big events. Like we're going to stream the whole thing live right here at Beginner Trading. But I question whether, and I hope they do. You guys know me. I'm basically a Tesla bull. I'm not saying I'm not a skeptic in some areas. I think Elon needs to lay off the political stuff. But, outside of that, I think Tesla's got a shot to be like a leading company in these big tech movements, right? But I think I don't know. It seems too good to be true. The robotaxi does, and they're coming out with a bot as well, or like a robot. And we grew up on movies like Bicentennial Man and all these robot movies, and you got to question whether those movies inspired this or whether they predicted this. It's an interesting, philosophical concept as well, or a thought process as well. Did they get inspired by those movies, or did those movies just accurately predict where we were going? We're getting close, though. We're getting close. It's a really interesting world. The world our kids grow up in is going to be super interesting because technology is just going to be on a whole nother level. And so it's interesting. Yeah,
Tesla's just almost filling the gap already. I was talking about where we get that gap fill. I think I even threw it in your chat like earlier this week when I put out that tweet. I just literally hopped in here. I was like, yo, John, check out Tesla.
I think I missed it. If I did, my bad. On the big streams. Yeah,
the chat's alive out there, man.
Yeah,
they probably saw me throw the comment up real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was pointing towards that gap fill. I'll tell you guys the truth. I tried to play it on swing trades and kept getting stopped out, man. I think I got stopped out like 3 or 4 times. I did make like a couple of like small little gains, but man, oh man, is it hard to stay in the volatility in Tesla?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's difficult, dude.
And I tried like 30, 40 shares. We're not talking about insane shares, but it's just too much pressure sometimes.
It's volatile
on that stock.
Yeah, it's just volatile. It goes up and down big percentages. I always, I'll day trade it sometimes. My main strategy, and I'll kind of draw it out. I talk about it a lot, but my main strategy is I look for blue chip companies. It has to be blue chips. Look, my drawing's terrible, but blue chip companies only. So I'll look for this only blue chips, right? So I wait for blue chip companies. Usually it happens around earnings, right? So usually an example of this is Meta. Meta earnings, Meta dropped like 20% maybe it was like 25. No, it was from 500 down to 400, I think. From their earnings play, right? That's a big drop for a blue chip company. That's a big drop. And so usually what I'll do, it has to be a company I believe in. I'll wait for the company to have these big drops around earnings, and I'll try to identify like the bottom, and I'll try to buy it up with small shares. You don't need to trade super large with these. And then most of the time in those plays, like if it drops like this, say here's the earnings report, and it just goes bam, right? I try to buy it up here. Sometimes I don't get it perfect. Like sometimes it'll look more like this. where we'll get the big drop and then it'll bounce back a little bit and I'll get it like right here. And then I'll look for that gap fill on the upside. It has to be a big percentage drop, like in this case, 20%, you know. But if I can buy it there, what I'll do is, number one, if it keeps dropping a little bit, I can add more to it. I don't have a problem with it. With the mindset, and the mindset I'll have is like, I'll say, okay, I can hold this for years if I need to. Like, this is a blue chip healthy company. The longer I hold this stock, the more likely it is that I make money on it, right?
Yeah.
And because most blue chip stocks are going to go up over time. You know, not every single one. There's always outliers. There's always, unlucky ones or just bad companies that become obsolete or whatever, but they're going to go up over time most of the time. And so, but usually short term, right, within a couple weeks, it's usually filling at least like 25-50% of that gap back on the upside. And traders get emotional when they start selling down here, and so then I'll take profit, and if it doesn't do what I want short term, I'll just hold it long term. And the accuracy that I have in those plays, like if anybody's been watching the chat for the last few years, you guys know how accurate those trades are. Like the last one we did it was Nike. Like we did this with Nike when everybody was super skeptical regarding shoes. Nike was down at $70 a share. And again, same concept. If you look at Nike, we started buying it up on this dip. If you look at Nike here, Nike dropped massively from almost $100 down to $70. So it dropped 30%. That's a 30% drop for Nike.
Yeah, well, did
and
it
Nike
go back up like 15?
Right, so Nike went up from $70 all the way to $85, so a little bit more than 15. This is more like, I would say like 25%. It rebounded 25% back up to 85 almost. And so that's a big, that's a big rebound, and it got back up there and it's still pumping up. If you look at it this morning, it's currently at 87, so almost hit 90
gap fills, man.
this morning. Yeah, dude.
People underrate gap fills, man, all the time.
For sure.
All the time.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think of sorry,
just one the other I think it was yesterday, the other day. It was the Apple gap down. That I was like, dude, this is just too easy to fill this right back.
100%. And Apple's a strong company.
Everyone's all
doubts
scared.
it.
iPhone.
Yeah.
I was like, they're sheeps, bro. They'll buy it no matter what.
100%. It's gonna go up no matter what. And this is why I know, right? Like my daughter Madison, right?
Yeah.
She's now 15. She's got her own phone.
She said, "Where's my new iPhone, dude?"
Right, 100%. Well, I could buy her the newest, coolest Samsung in the world right now and give it to her, and she would not take it. She would refuse to take it.
My iPhone. Come on.
Right. She would take a 2009 iPhone over a brand new Samsung. I promise. And the reason for it is because Apple's been very, very smart about they're the cool phone. Young people want Apple. In group messages, they don't want to show that they're an Android user. They want to be an Apple user. They want to fit in. Young people want to fit in. And once you start using a brand and phone, you usually stay with it for the rest of your life. And so Apple's been very smart about getting in, young people. Young people want to use Apple phones. And so Apple's going to be fine no matter what. They can't innovate every year. And I'm a Samsung guy. I got the Z Fold, so I got the Z Fold phone. I'm a big Samsung guy. I've been one for 10, 15 years now. But Apple's going to be fine, I think.
Yeah, they'll be fine, and I think a lot of people can just learn from those plays, right? Sometimes it's not the obvious play that is the better one. Like one thing I've noticed lately, and it's just because I've been doing a lot of like kind of swing shorts also, is maybe for swing shorts, not trying to play the sexy names, the non-sexy shorts. Like one of the biggest gains that I've had in this year is on Macy's short.
Oh, yeah. Macy's.
Just taking it simple, right? And not trying to make things hard, right? Try to trade things that aren't as, let's say, watched by kind of the institutional traders and things like that. That's going to be helping, because the truth is like, let's say going and try to short NVDA is going to be a lot harder than the short that I went after on Macy's or like on Abercrombie and Fitch, names like that, right? They take a long time to first play out, but once they start going, it just seems like they just start dumping, dump.
Right.
And
dude, Abercrombie is obscene, bro. This thing's freaking crazy high, dude. Like, it should never be anywhere close to where it's at now. Never even anywhere close. And I've said this like 1,000 times. It's just it's crazy to me because you grew up in the same age that I did.
Yeah,
like
man.
you remember the old Abercrombie? You
The
go in
real
there and smell like
Abercrombie.
cologne. They got dudes with no shirt on, techno music's playing. Like that was the old Abercrombie and Fitch store, dude. Right. And I would wear them because that's what the girls liked. Girls like Abercrombie. I'm throwing an Abercrombie shirt on. I don't care.
Especially
right?
Abercrombie because it was like the expensive version, right? Like Hollister and Abercrombie were like the higher end. If you were wearing American Eagle, you still got viewed down.
Right, for sure. You're looked down on. Yeah, 100%. Eventually, we all gravitated towards polo anyway. That's what I did. I graduated towards polo anyway. Yeah. But no, and this is a play I've talked about before. Like everybody wants to short these big blue chip companies like Apple and Amazon. Again, like I said, the longer I hold a blue chip company, the more likely I am to make money. The longer I hold a short position in those companies, the less likely I am to make money. But I think there's some plays that are very obviously weak, right? Some plays that are just super obviously weak, like Peloton is one of them. Like Peloton just after the pandemic, nobody wanted to stay home and ride a VR bicycle anymore, and they just got obscenely overfunded, obscenely extended on the upside, and very easy to predict their downfall. You might remember this one too, Mitch. BYND.
Dude, they should have just hired me, man.
Dude, they should have. I remember you liked this one back in the day. Just to clarify, guys, this was like, what, 8 years ago, 6 years ago. Mitch used to run the channel with me, so this was like 6 years ago, and it was justifiable back then for the investment. Like it was good back then, right? But they never lowered their prices. Is the problem? They never.
I think that wasn't the problem. To tell you the truth, was they needed to raise money, right?
Sure.
And what I would have done, and if this is my idea, is that I would have used the ability of the name and the brand to make the best gyms in the world.
Sure.
Just completely knocked Planet Fitness out, knocked any fitness gym around the corner.
Oh, you're talking about Peloton right now,
yes.
right? Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
The name itself would have been an ability and raise money. Raise money. Whenever a company does these insane lifts, there's no reason why they shouldn't be raising money. That's why when people get mad at GME, I'm like, well, you just don't understand business. They're going to keep raising money on you.
Right. And they should have focused more on, like, marketing should have been better. I think whoever was making the business decisions here, what I would always talk about is like these bicycles cost $3,000 for a freaking virtual reality bicycle, and then the monthly subscription's cheap. I think they should have completely switched that. I think they should have made the bikes cheap, and then once you spend $1,000 on a freaking VR bicycle, you're gonna pay for the monthly subscription because then you got a freaking brick sitting in your house. And so make the bike cheap. Pump that monthly subscription up is what they should have done. They should have switched their mentality. That way you get it in people's houses, and once it's there, they're going to pay for the subscription no matter what, and that's where you make your bottom line. That's where you make your profits as a company. And they just, again, they got too big too quick, and they started making like VR rowboats or VR rowing machines and stuff that, like, it was cool, but it was so obscure, it was so niche that like nobody really wanted it, and so they just started burning money, and now they're at $4.75 a share, and maybe they'll innovate. I think they also PO'd the guy in UFC, Dana White. They rubbed Dana White the wrong way, and he basically like had this big bad negative marketing campaign around them. So they just made some bad decisions, I think. And now that they're
Beyond Meat, man. Gotta raise money when the getting's good, man. Dude. When the getting's good.
Yeah, Beyond Meat, they had to lower prices
fake
too.
Meat, fake profits, bro.
I think overall it has to do with just the niche of this. Like, vegans are health conscious. They do not want to eat. They don't want to experiment with lab grown meat. They just don't. They're not going to do it. You could probably give it to them for free, and they wouldn't want to really do it. And so I think you got to make it cheap, like really cheap, and it's not really cheap. So that's the problem with a lot of these companies. But still, like, we'll see what happens. They could come back. Tesla now, like you said, almost filling the entire gap here. Going back.
Yeah, Tesla's an interesting one, man, and I'll continue to watch that because the truth is that now you're starting to get the momentum back in for the event, right?
Sure.
October 10th is faster than you know.
100%.
And it's always about 2 to 3 weeks out of time that I've noticed that Tesla loves to get the momentum. I'll give you guys that insight, at least to look into it, right? And so what I usually look at is any event, whether, like, let's say Meta's event. two weeks, like a week out, right? Meta has an event for the Oculus out, and you can see the reaction of the stock already. Stocks love to make the move a week or two, at least I would say 2 to 3 weeks prior to an event. So watch for that type of move.
Sure.
Right?
Buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And then by the time it starts getting really close, and then you see it on CNBC being talked about, that's probably usually the time to start going the selling button.
Sure, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen it countless times with Tesla.
I've seen it
happened
so
for
much.
the semi-truck event. It happened for the truck, the cyber truck.
Right.
And this is something that we can all take a look at, right?
Right.
And
I'm worried.
For the witching event, I will say, guys, that the truth is that the witching event is going to be a lot better if you can really kind of look into more of imbalances towards the open and the close. That's probably the easiest way to kind of catch moments like that, because I see some comments about the witch coming up, and that's one thing that I would say. But I can also tell you guys that I've tried to trade these days to like get edge and certain things like that. And it's also tough. It's tough. Yeah. It's really tough. I know that you've traded these too, John. It's not like it's just going to make it easy today.
Sure. Well, people get excited, but it's very tough days to trade. A lot of the time you'll get chop, and then you'll get big breakouts, and then you'll just, it's very difficult to trade, especially on Fridays. And I think it has to do with it being a Friday. We're kind of in the hangover from FOMC on Wednesday. There's just a lot of stuff going on in markets. And then next week, we have what do we have next week? Next week, I think we have GDP data and inflation data coming out. Yeah, so next week we've got GDP data. It's expected at 3% for second revision, and then we've got PCE data as well.
Yeah, that's going to be the big watch, right? And I say continue.
Hold on, Mitch. Here, hang. Sorry to interrupt you. Hold it down. Carol's talking to me, so I'm gonna mute myself.
I got you. I'll just talk about my last thing here that I'll tell you guys. And I know that John's and beginner trading overall has moved more into the economics talk, right? And so what I would tell you guys to take a look at to see what happens in the banks today, because that's going to be a big outlook in moving forward towards the next year. Because if interest rates are going to come down that dramatically and that fast and that pace, well, the one area that is going to definitely change is the earnings from the banks. And another thing that we could start to see is that the TINA trade, right? They say that the TINA trade was dead when interest rates rose to a point where you could throw your money in Robinhood, Interactive Broker, and make 5%. Now, those brokerages and the people that were offering the 5-6%, those are slowly all going to start coming down. And the banks themselves that were starting to offer, let's say 3, 4, 5% on savings accounts, they're going to start coming down. And so what's going to happen with all that money? Well, all that money is going to start being pulled out and getting put back where? That's the question. Is it going to get put back into the stock market, or will it be sitting on the sidelines? Those are things to think about. For a little while there, the TINA trade was dead, and essentially you went for the risk-free money if you had tons of money, right? I don't know if I got muted in the process there, but I hope I didn't.
Oh wait, can y'all hear Mitch? Sorry, I muted myself and then I muted the background, but you shouldn't have been muted. No. Chuck saying he can't hear. I'm trying to make sure.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure there, but no worries.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you weren't. Chat, could you hear Mitch just now in the last like 2-3 minutes? I'm muted. Okay, they hear you. Okay, good.
All right, so yeah,
Carol
that's what
wanted
I
to say.
continue to watch, man. Watch those banks. They're going to be a good sign. Hey, how we doing?
Oh, here. I'm sorry, baby. Here, take it.
Hey, man.
It's great to see you.
I know, right? How are y'all doing? How those babies doing, man?
Doing awesome. Getting really big. They're getting close to crawling. So you already know. Starting to stick those little butts in the air.
Yeah, that's a fun time, bro. Wait until they get mobile, dude. It'll be problems, you know.
Yeah, they'll be taking over for sure. Let's just say double trouble is definitely double trouble. It's it's tough, but it's been fun, and can't wait to see you guys. And maybe we go and do a little trader cruise one day.
We should, bro. Yeah, dude. I'm down. We'll have to come out and see you guys, man. I'm trying to think. I'm not gonna say. I'm trying to think. I want to go hit up the casinos where you are. I think I told you that before.
Yeah,
And,
no
so we
worries.
should
We'll
plan
figure
something.
things out. We'll figure
Yeah.
things out for sure. But definitely stay tuned, guys. I always appreciate this, family. I had a good time joining in here. It's always good to see you guys. Continue to grow, guys, and keep
Hey,
pushing.
thanks,
John does a great way of just showing you guys that the truth is that there's no one way in the market. You got to keep coming after it. You got to be a person that's trying to learn every single day, right? The same way that John's trying to continue to learn, I'm trying to continue to learn, right? And the number one thing that I will tell you guys before I leave is to keep focusing on those habits. Try to find habits in your life, whether it be in your personal life, whether it be in your trading life, everything. Start working those habits, making them in the right way. One of the top things that you can do is try to do a good habit with a bad habit. So what I mean by that is that, let's say a good habit is that you go to the coffee machine every morning, right? Well, it's a good habit to me, right? It wakes me up. It gets me ready. And then one thing that I can think about is maybe putting a little note on that coffee machine. Hey, don't get too oversized today. Things like this, little tips, little snippets can make you really start to adjust your habits and see a change in your life, not just in your trading life too. So work these habits in your trading life, your personal life, and also outside everywhere. Because what you start noticing is that your habits make you who you are, whether it be with your friends, whether it be in trading. So get after it, team. I wish you guys all the best and keep growing.
Appreciate you coming on the show, brother. Appreciate it, man. Where can they find you? You want me to?
Yeah,
you want me to plug? What you want me to plug?
Right now, I'll be
I can
going
plug your
to
X
kind of
account?
trading action.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Of course, I do a trading show, guys. It starts at 8:30, gets all the way until 11. Like always, it's through kind of a different prop firm. It's not something that I'm trying to push on. Mainly, guys, I'm just a trader on there. I'm a talent trying to show you guys how to trade professionally. And that's what I try to do every single day is trade like a professional and get to that next level. Right. We all want to get to that point where we're not just in survival stage, but in that thriving stage. And that's really where I'm getting to, right? I've gotten past the survivor stage into the small profitability stage, and now looking to get into that thriving stage where we can all get to where we want to, right? Which is at the end of the day, get that wealth move and make a push up, right? So I wish you guys the best of luck. Have a great trading day. Keep pushing forward. I'll see you guys back here. Beginner trading fam, like always. Where's my beginner trading coin? I think it's right behind me, but
you still got it. I got mine too, for sure.
Hey,
but,
got to, man.
Dude,
you're gonna have to push those out again. I think the fam out here would love it.
Yeah,
so,
dude.
Hey.
One day. You know.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Take care, Carol.
Thanks,
Tell the family I said hello, and always good to see you guys. Definitely wish you guys the best. Take care.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Tell
Later,
the
brother.
wife we said hello, man.
Will do.
dude.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Later, bro. All right, that's Mitch. Honestly, old friend of mine, man. Just a good dude. Y'all go give that man a subscribe. Carol's heading out too. So
Morning, guys.
All right, baby.
Hope y'all have a good day. Good luck.
Yeah, just a good dude, really smart trader. Y'all go give that man a subscribe if you can. Help support him. So we had an old guy that made a wooden coin for us back in the day. I think his name was Eric, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong. It's been so long. This was like 6 or 7 years ago, almost a decade ago. And so, but just a good dude, really smart dude. Eric, I think it was. All right. Yeah, you can go give that man a subscribe. There's the link to his channel right there. But yeah. With that said, now to do a Top Step plug. If you haven't checked out Top Step, one of the most legit funded programs in the world. And again, if you want to day trade, we talk about day trading a lot. Do not risk your own money. It makes absolutely no sense to risk your own money. Almost all new day traders lose. It doesn't matter who you are. You think you're going to be some type of prodigies of savant. I'm here to tell you, you're probably not. That might hurt to hear. It's just the truth. And so with that in mind, why risk thousands of dollars for your first account? It makes no sense to. There's no reason to risk that much. You're probably going to lose in the beginning no matter where you go. And so try a funded account program. They give you a demo first and they test your skill. It's kind of like an internship of trading. Somebody used it yesterday. I'm going to steal that. It's kind of like an internship for trading. They give you a demo. They test your skill with it. If you pass that test, then they fund you with a 90% split. So it's similar to putting the money up yourself. But if you fail, you only lose the monthly subscription. A perfect middle ground of pressure teaches you how to trade under pressure. And on Top Step, one of the most legit in the world, The base one's $49. They give you a 50K demo. You got to make 3K in profit on that 50K demo without losing 2K first. Reasonable 2 to 3 ratio. And if you do, they fund you. And most day traders lose. It doesn't matter where they go. It's a lot cheaper to lose in something like this than it is to put up 3, 4, 5 grand and lose that, which is what most new day traders end up doing. And so they paid out over $40 million to their traders. They fund thousands of traders a year. They're just one of the best platforms there. They've been around for over a decade. And again, Top Step X has one of the single biggest edges in funding, in my opinion. And the reason why is that Top Step X has 0 commissions. So there's literally no commissions on Top Step X, and so you can day trade with micro contracts with almost no commissions. It's only 74 cents in fees per trade. You can kind of see it right here. And so that way you can take small $11, $15, $10 trades, slowly build up that cushion of profit like I talked about earlier, and you can do it with almost no commissions. It's literally, in my opinion, one of the best edges you get in funding accounts right now is Top Step X specifically. So if you sign up, use Top Step X and you'll see it. And if you want to sign up, here's the link. Check it out. Great way to help support the channel, and I appreciate the love. They are a sponsor of mine. They pay me money. I am biased because of it. So I'm definitely biased. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. And yeah, I'm going to put the music back on now that Mitch is gone. But yeah, check it out. Understand I do trade off stream. I'm not even going to claim to be a good trader. I'm one of the top 3 worst ever of all time ever in the world. So understand that, chat. Understand. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Link is right there if you want to check it out. Headed to Baywatch? Yeah, that's where he's headed. Yeah. Have you explained what triple witching means? I mean, it might be in big letters right there. You know, I'm not going to say, like, use your eyes, but just a weather, man. It's in this. It's in this area right around here. You know, right around here, it might give you like a really good explanation of what triple witching day means and quad witching day means right here. Mitch's link, scroll up, you'll see it. So scroll up, I posted it already. Just scroll up. And looking at our poll, 60% think we're going to have red action today. 40% think we're going to have green action. Shohei Ohtani had one of the best performances in history. He went 6 for 6, 3 home runs, 2 doubles, 1 single, 10 runs batted in, 4 runs scored, 2 stolen bases. Wow. Again, Shohei Ohtani's the GOAT, man. I've said it once, I'll say it again. He pitches over 100 miles per hour, has a low ERA, is in the home run race every freaking year, and it's just brilliant. It's freaking brilliant. Honestly, I really wanted to see him this year. I genuinely wanted to see him this year. You know, the only reason is that he's not pitching anymore. I wanted to see him pitch, to be honest. All right, so is Dana White entering boxing? Did you make money yesterday, John? I don't think so. I think I lost money, which is kind of against my plan. We honestly had bigger movements, and I didn't have So the contracts expire at the close today at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is what goes on. So the contracts actually expire at close at 4 p.m. But the volatility that we get is not at the close. It's close to the close, but it's leading up to the close as well, you know. Yeah, so I did actually lose money yesterday, unfortunately. But it's all right. And the market's actually pushing up some. I'm going to short right now, I think. Take 2 contracts here. And so again, just to show you my trades, we got 2 contracts here, and this is Top Step X. Again, we can take these little small trades, build up some cushion. I'm going to add to my winning trade. We got 2 big up wicks. I might take some big size here. There we go. 4 contracts. Locked a little bit of profit in. Again, we are shorting right now. I'm going to take a little bit more off there. Making a little bit of money. I'll add to this again. Take our little swing from this. See if we come down. Little small range, small size. There we go. Take another piece off, lock that in. All right, so we're out. So we just made 4, 8, 12, 18. We made about 25 bucks just now on that little trade. And that's my point, is that we can take these little small trades, scale in, scale out on Top Step. It's just really useful. It's genuinely one of the biggest edges in trading, in my opinion. Could you look at Salesforce? I like Salesforce long-term, short-term. I have no idea what it's going to do. Infrastructure for AI is nowhere near complete. That's my only disagreement with your boy. Still in early innings, and demand has showed that across all semiconductors. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. I really don't know, is what it is. All right, I'm going to throw it in sub-only mode, chat. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Whew, it is triple witching day today, chat. Triple witching day. Triple witching. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for it. Yeah, FedEx is just dumping down today, dumping down. Sorry, I just had to yell for my wife in the house. My dogs were barking outside, and she let them out, so she had to let them back in. I feel like Will Ferrell asking for meatloaf when I do that. I'm like, Carol, you know, Ma, get the meatloaf. That's what I feel like every time I do. Top 3 mom's basement in the world right now. Yeah, FedEx, terrible reaction to earnings. It's earnings, right? Terrible reaction. FedEx is down big. Look at this. Such a big drop for FedEx. Down to 261. Part of me wants to buy it up, but I just don't trust FedEx as a company. I think, yeah, I just don't trust it. We got into another little short on Top Step X, and again, this is why it's the biggest edge in funding right now, in my opinion, is because I can take these small sizes. We already profited. Now we're flat. I don't know what I want to do on the rest. I don't think I want to add to it. We already took some profit off of the second trade that we got in, but I think like it's a double top. We're extended on the upside. I think there's an argument on a rejection here, but I don't know. Oh wait, did I have 2 shares? Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I just gave back the profit I made on that trade, unfortunately. I didn't know I had 2. I thought I only had 1. It's all right. We'll keep going back to it, but Up on the day no matter what, so that's good. No, I mean buying contracts because I'm trading futures. We don't really have any economic data coming out today. Again, today's quad witching day. Aside from contract types expiring. Again, I'm trading futures, guys. That's why I'm on Top Step. I'm trading futures. Again, in the futures market, I can day trade the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 500, basically the SPY and Q price action. I can trade gold. I can trade some currencies. Most pro day traders should be trading futures, in my opinion, because you've got more options. There's no PDT rule, and it's better for new traders to get started for less, especially with these funded account programs, again, like Top Step. So again, if you want to check out what I'm doing, which is, again, I'm trading futures, guys, there's the link. But again, they're an affiliate of mine. I like your hair. Looks good. Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. Whoa, dude. Whoa, you're looking cool, man. What's up, dude? Stylish, bro. Yeah. Yeah. You know. He ate with that one. No? Yeah? You know? You ate with that one? Is that good? Is that right?
What do you mean?
Is that no cap?
Jack, did you eat with this fish?
Yeah. Did you eat with that? Is that no cap, Jack? You didn't eat with that.
Oh,
Okay. Fair. No, got you.
Dude, he ate. Dog, he ate.
You know, back in my day, it would be like, that's a tight fit. Bruh.
Low key?
No, not low key. Low key, y'all actually stole from us. Because we would be like, hey, we're going to keep it on the... We got to keep it low key here, you know? And then y'all changed it to, like, say it in front of words. Like, that's low key good, low key bad, you know? No cap. That's all I'm saying. All right, guys, I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. Did the music stop? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Hold on. Did the music stop? Yeah, I got to do the family thing. You know, that's how it goes. So we're trying over here. All right, dude, give me a hug, man. Come here. Oh. Yeah, bro, you need some new shoes, dude. Why don't you just go wear some other ones that fit you? I'll get you some new ones after the day. No, they don't. I tried to tell him when I bought him them shoes. Jack was like, oh, I like those shoes. I tried to tell him when I bought those shoes, hey, these feel a little bit tight. And Jack was like, nah, they feel fine. Well, no, he's been telling me for the last, like, week that they're causing red marks on his feet. So, now we got to buy more shoes. All right, buddy. I love you, dude. Have a good day, there. All right. I love you. Have a good day. All right. Yeah, I gotta do the family thing. That's how it goes. All right. Yeah, look at Apple come all the way back up to 229.30. So Apple is making like a pretty big resurgence. Yeah, Sam. So I looked at it, brother. Like I said, man, it's just I gotta just be really careful what I promote, and you know, I don't know too many people here that, you know, it's just a different thing. It'd be hard. Like I don't know that many, so like I don't have a huge network to really like, you know, promote it, brother. But good luck, man. Good luck. I wish you the best on you know, selling it. NVIDIA recovering and pre-trading. Yeah, NVIDIA is bouncing back up a little bit. It's at 117. We've basically been flat for almost... Here's 2024. We have been flat for half of this year already, since June. We've been flat since June. It's now September in NVIDIA. We're down a little bit since June, but we haven't had any too big of breakdowns since then either, you know. All right, sorry guys, dealing with stuff. We're, like I said, we're closing on a house soon, and so I'm trying to deal with the option period. And you know, they found a leak in the bathroom, and like now we're kind of going back and forth, and you know, we got to do it before the option ends. It's just a big mess. All right, guys. So, let's see what we get. No, I'm not moving. It's a investment property. Gold gonna keep going up. Gold's been moving up too. Yeah, you can start looking at holiday stocks as well, leading into the market. And the market's been pumping up so far this morning. It's up. Like here's the S&P 500. FedEx is leading the market down. Here's the S&P. All right, so we are short in this position. We're gonna start taking some profit here. How do I get that bad of a fill? I was up like $12 or $13 and it just, I think it retraced all the way back up, unfortunately. Luckily, we're kind of flat now. There's a bigger breakdown here. I'm gonna go lock that in with a small amount of profit, and then I might add more to it. I like the triple or the double top up here, but the problem is, look at Apple rip. So I'm gonna cover this before Apple, like we made break-even trade basically. Look at Apple start to go. So Apple is starting to move up here is the problem, and Apple Q just went green on the day. Apple's still rising very, very fast this morning, and so usually I would attack the top of the range here, but I think we're seeing a lot of stuff look good today on the upside. I mean, again, I don't know if it's going to continue. We'll wait and see. Who freaking knows? But yeah. Yeah, so sorry, dogs are barking up a storm. Alright, so again, it is quad wishing day. Let me fix all this. And get rid of pre-market thing. Yeah, it's Bruce. He's a good dog. Alright guys, so yeah, we did get a rejection. Maybe I should have stayed in my short longer, which is kind of, I'm noticing like I probably cut my, I'm right a lot about directions, but I end up just holding too short. Like I end up like getting nervous and getting out of positions when I shouldn't, unfortunately, and so I think I have to work on that. But I will short into some of these movements here. Again, we're kind of having chop, so I'm going to try to start trading a little bit larger in this account as well, is what I'm working on. There we go, boom. So we just made about 20 bucks. We're green on the day right now. Yeah, we're up about 30, which is nice. I got a little bit of a cushion heading into the day. I just like to trade a little bit larger. A little bit larger is what I want to trade. So we'll see if we get some good action. Again, NVIDIA is what you want to watch. Apple also pumping up today. Sideways boring day, maybe. You know. Yeah, we'll short this again. We got a cushion on the day. We're at the resistance level here. So we'll wait. Try to let things play out a little bit more like we want. Take a little bit more size. 5 contracts. Starts to scale out pretty fast. There we go. And this is the huge edge of Top Step X, is that I can trade tiny if I want to like this. What? Wait. Did it really just fill me $1.50 when it said $7 in profit? Hold on. I got to start getting out with non-market orders. That was a horrible fill. I can buy with market orders, but I mean, I don't know if they're usually red or green. I really don't know. Yeah, it's just low liquid, unfortunately. It's pre-market on quad witching day. We got 30 minutes until the open, so we'll see what we get. But it's pre-market on quad witching day. It's kind of normal, I guess. I'm seeing a post that says, for men who are older than 25, drop a piece of advice. Or I'll just say people who are over 25, drop a piece of advice for anybody 18 to 24. It can be about anything. As somebody in my 30s, best advice I could give you is to pick your battles. Right? I tell my kids this. Like, look, pick your freaking battles, man. It's easy to get upset. It's easy to get your pride in the way. But pick your battles, right? Make sure they're winnable. And even if they're not winnable, or even if they are winnable, make sure it's worth it. And this can be in relationships. It can be in whatever. Just pick your battles, man. Figure out. Make sure the juice is worth the squeeze, you know? Because I think that's the mistake I made a lot when I was young. Was like combative. I was just combative, you know? And I think as I got older, matured a little bit, you learn to just kind of let stuff go and pick your battles. That's the best advice I can give you. He didn't include single stock futures, which is the fourth or quad. Yes, but there's no such thing as single stock futures anymore, son. And so, you know, it's no such thing. I think they got rid of single stock futures. When was it? This was like years ago, I think. So it hasn't been quad witching day technically in years. It's only triple witching day because there's no such thing as single stock futures. You used to be able to buy futures or trade futures of like Apple or Amazon or Tesla. You no longer can. Yeah. Start saving early. Slow down. You're moving fast. Don't stress. We all end up in the same place. Enjoy the ride. Yeah, for sure. Enjoy life too. Like, making a lot of money doesn't feel as good as you think it does, right? It really doesn't, you know. And I'm top 3. I'm not even saying I'm like some big businessman or anything, but like, you want to make a lot of money, and then you do, and then you realize very quickly, like, you get some cool stuff, like you buy a couple nice things, but once you get used to those nice things, you feel the same. It doesn't necessarily equal happiness. It really doesn't. And I know it's kind of cliched saying where, you know, money doesn't equal happiness. It depends on how stressful your life is without it. But like, if you've got a good life where your bills are paid, you got food to eat, you got a place to live, right? It's not much different, you know. My advice would be don't drink. 100% good advice. Yeah, alcohol's a nasty addiction, dude. It's probably nastier than any other addiction I see out there is alcohol. right? And that includes like hard stuff too, because there's only two things that you can actually like pass from withdrawals, and alcohol is one of them, you know. And that's why you see a lot of like adults that have to drink every day, is because they get sick if they try to stop, unfortunately. I've been very blessed in that, like, I've never really been like that with alcohol ever. I've just never been a big drinker, never really enjoyed it. I have a little bit of OCD, so I like to kind of control myself, and like on that stuff I can't, and I just never liked it. And then, you know, I was always like a wimp anyway with it. Like, I would get sick very easily. Never had a tolerance to it. Never built a tolerance to it. And I guess that's good, you know. But I had friends that just kind of went down a bad road from it. Yeah, do something you enjoy doing is a good one, for sure. You know, like I say all the time, figure out what you like doing and monetize the heck out of it, you know, is a good move, right? Find out what you like doing, whatever it is, you know. Everybody's different. I like the stock market, so I monetize that, you know. And I really do genuinely enjoy, you know, this. Like, I've been training jujitsu a lot lately. I had one of my jujitsu friends, Lance, be like, hey, I was in your stream yesterday. So shout out to Lance if he's here, you know. If he's not, that's okay. You know, that fool freaking ankle locked me yesterday, dude. He started learning heel hooks and inverting and freaking ankle locking me, and I'm not happy about it either, you know. He caught me yesterday. I'm still kind of sad about it. I gotta get some John Danaher content out there and just start digesting that so it can never happen again. And it wasn't even in no-gi. And it wasn't a heel hook, so it's legal. He ankle locked me. And honestly, it's the first time I've been really ankle locked like that, where most of the time people ankle lock me, I can stand up and I'm fine. It's not really like causing enough pain to make me tap. That fool studied, and now he inverts and ankle locks me, and it sucks. On me. It's bad. It's good for him. Like, it's bad for me. I'm not happy about it. Can you do a breakdown of the Dow? I've never been a big fan of the Dow, personally. The Dow 30. Why have I not been a big fan? For lack of a better word, it's got boomer stocks in there, right? Like, it's got stocks that are old, that I think some of them could go obsolete, and it's not super diversified. And shout out to all my boomers out there. Listen, I like you guys. My parents are boomers, and so, like, actual baby boomers. They call them baby boomers because they were, like, after World War II, all the soldiers came home and had babies. And those are the boomers, right? Those are our parents, mostly people my age. But the problem is that, like, there's a very common tendency to overvalue old legacy companies, you know, that maybe you shouldn't overvalue. Like, let me see what the Dow stocks list and weights. United Health is good. Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, Home Depot, Caterpillar, Amgen. Mickey D's is a little risky, I think. There's some, you know, look, there's some good stocks in here. Most of them are fine, you know, but like Verizon, Intel, Cisco, Johnson & Johnson, the rest are probably fine. IBM, Travelers, you know, the rest are probably fine, but the point is it's not diversified enough, right? Like, the S&P 500 is 500 companies, super diversified. Even if one struggles, the S&P is doing fine, right? Same thing with the Nasdaq 100. It's 100 companies. Even if one struggles, it's probably going to be okay. A little bit more volatile than the S&P, though. That's why you see the Nasdaq being a little bit more volatile, more tech heavy. The Dow's 30 stocks. That's a risky list of stocks, you know, so I've never been a big fan of it personally, and I might be wildly wrong here. Maybe I'm just freaking wrong about the Dow. I don't know. It's just not, I'm not a fan of it. I know you mentioned Verizon. It's not that, like, listen, it's not that I dislike Verizon as a company. It's that I think there's risks in any of these conventional phone carriers, and I'll explain why. I've said this before, the same argument. I'll go over it again. The reason I don't like those is because there's a very specific reason. It's because what trends have you noticed over the past 10 years? Right? What I noticed in trends is that 10 years ago, people had to go to these phone carriers like AT&T, Verizon, whomever else. They had to go to them, and they had to lock themselves into long-term contracts to get phone cellular service. They had to lock themselves. They had to put up their freaking social security number. They had to do all this crap that you don't need to do anymore, right? And of course, the phone companies loved it because it was more margin heavy for them. Like, they profited more from that scenario, that business model. But then competition started to arise, and now you have pay as you go. You have no contract based, and those are taken over now. You know, an example of this, and I've gone over this before, but my wife and I were trying to buy a service for my daughter, right? And originally we had her a pay as you go, no contract based cellular service. It gave unlimited data, unlimited texting, unlimited phone usage for like $50 a month, no contract, right? We go to AT&T, and then but at a certain point, we had forgot the passcode. She had forgot the passcode to get in, and so we go to AT&T or whoever it was, and we sit down, and we're like, "Hey, we need to add minutes to our phone," and AT&T basically starts pitching us on a long-term contract. And so we sit there for literally like 5 minutes getting pitched. And eventually my wife and I kind of look at each other and we tell the person, we're like, hey, look, what's the point of this though? Like, why should we lock ourselves into a contract for a year when we're going to pay cheaper amounts, get unlimited call, text, and data for less than you're asking for us, for less work than you're asking for us? And we have to give you our social and do all this stuff. Like, we don't want to do any of this stuff, you know? And she didn't really have an answer. She had no response to that. And so that is the overarching argument that I'm putting out there against Verizon, AT&T, all these companies, because even if they're the ones offering no contract because they have to stay competitive, they're going to lose money. Like, they're going to lose interest. Competition makes them vulnerable. And to a certain extent, the big contracts are becoming obsolete now because of that competition. They're all using the same towers anyway. And so, I don't know. I just think, I think it's risky. And I think these companies, while they might not fail over time, I don't think they're going to grow much, versus like other stocks that might be a much better signal of growth, And so that's kind of why I'm against some of these companies. I just think it's risky. I think it's unnecessary, And I think we're going to see more and more of that over the next freaking, however long, next 10, 20 years. Maybe I'm wrong. It's kind of like Comcast, right? Comcast, same thing. Same argument. Same thing with another one I talk about all the time was Dish on demand, like satellite dishes. When I was growing up, you had to slap a satellite dish on your house if you wanted good cable TV in some places in the world. That's no longer a thing anymore. Satellite dishes, you could identify their obsolete risks. The risk of them going obsolete. You could identify that very early on, years ago. And I've been saying this for years, and now Dish is bankrupt and it's no longer even public anymore. Very predictable thing. I see a similar thing in some of these phone services. And maybe not Verizon, but we might see it reflected in AT&T. You might see it reflected in some of these other ones. And I just think it's risky, Technology has evolved to render a lot of those companies more obsolete than they used to be, I mean, there's not really a monster drop. I don't really see a monster drop. I just see a pullback from moving up. Again, it's quad witching day. I don't know what we're going to get today. Nobody does. Okay, so Fed Chair Powell says he does not see anything in the economy right now that suggests the likelihood of a downturn is elevated. Oh, wait, this is September. I don't know why it started me all the way over. The Fed's relaxed bank capital plan reportedly faced bipartisan FDIC pushback, according to Bloomberg. American Airlines is reportedly in discussions to select Citigroup over Barclays for a credit card deal. Yeah, pagers in the 90s. I never had a pager. I'm too young for a pager, but to ever have used pagers. But I did grow up when the internet was first taking off, you know. All right, so SPY coming all the way back down. I'm gonna buy this dip up now. Again, we're trading small. This is a funded account program. Again, to put it into perspective, my TOS accounts had 6 figures all year, right? Like, I don't really need to get funded, but I'm taking this slow because I think this is the right way to be right now. All right, we're gonna take half off, lock it in. We're gonna take another half off. We just made about $20 in what, 10 seconds? And again, we'll see what happens, right? We got this big down wick. A lot of the time, this down wick is actually gonna fill on the downside when they're this big. So let's see if I'm right about that. I might be wrong. Very risky kind of counter trend strategy here, but we're flat. It takes too long. I'm just gonna cut this. I do think we have some deep extension short term on the downside here, obviously, after this big pullback. I think maybe we can get choppiness. We're just going to cut it. So we lost $9 there. Kind of going back and forth. We're just playing around here this morning. Payphones on every color, right? I just think, and again, I think the problem is that older people have nostalgia, right? Like, older people are nostalgic about some of these brands and companies. And, you know, see, look, I was right again. See, I got scared out of a correct trade again. Look, I was shorting this. Look at this big downward trend. I told you guys a lot of the time this down wick is going to fill. Top 3 right and wrong trader in the world. But no, a lot of times people are too nostalgic regarding some of these companies, like Dollar Tree, Dollar General, same thing. You know, obviously, anybody that understands technology growth understands those stores are not going to be around in 20 years. They're just not. But again, people went to them growing up. They're nostalgic about them, you know. Same thing that kind of got a lot of people with GameStop too. Right? People were nostalgic about GameStop. They get really emotional. The best analogy I have is, like, there was one time I was driving to Michigan with my son and my family, and we were driving there. And my son had this little face iPad holder where it had like little arms and you could hold the iPad from it. And he had that thing for freaking years. Well, he was playing too many games on his iPad while we were driving and puked all over it, you know. And so we got to the gas station and we're like, okay, this thing's got puke on it now. We're tossing it. We're throwing it away. My son freaks out, says, no, I don't want to throw this thing away. I don't want to throw my iPad case away, you know. And so we told him, son, listen, while you might remember this thing, you might have used it, you know, it's eventually this thing is not going to be worth it anymore. And we tossed it in the trash, right? And he got over it. He was like, all right, cool, fine. But I guess the overarching point I'm trying to make is that some people in stocks are holding on to vomit-ridden iPad cases, okay? And don't do it. Be willing to throw vomit-ridden iPad cases away, you know? That's the point. Don't be nostalgic over dumb stuff. Recognize when stuff's bad and you know, pivot. Yeah, we're mostly flat on the day, though. If we zoom out here, you know, we zoom out here, up, down, not really a shock. It's Friday. A lot of the time we'll get like rectangular action where we kind of go up and down in a range on Friday. Who knows? You know, we'll see. It is Friday. It's been a busy week. Best analogy in the world, they say. Definitely top 3 analogies ever. But the point rings true here. Really, a lot of people are doing that with stocks, right? A lot of people hold on to stocks way too long when it should be time to throw them in the trash because they're nostalgic with them, you know. And I think the older you are, the more you fear change. You know, the younger you are, the more resilient to change you are. The older you are, the more you fear it. And I think you see a lot of people who were around when carriages were transitioning to automobiles. You know, I'm sure they feared cars, and they said this will never work. You know, motorized vehicles will never work. You know, blah 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 blah. And obviously, in hindsight, they worked. Same thing's going on. You know, in a lot of different industries, EVs, everything. So you gotta be welcoming change, because change happens no matter what, whether you want it or not. Change is gonna happen. You can't fear it, you know, and a lot of people do, unfortunately. All right, so we're kind of in the middle of the range here, which is why I stopped buying and selling stuff. We're in the middle of the range. Armish people? What's an arm? Armish people. What is that? You know? Kramer said FedEx is a great stock to own. Kramer curse, man. It's real. I know who the Amish are. I know who the Amish are. I'm messing with him because he said Armish. It's Amish. A-M-I. I think, right? Maybe I'm dumb. Watch it be Armish. Okay, honestly, freaking my bank. I'm not going to tell who this bank is, but honestly, they're freaking dumb, dude. Oh my gosh, man. Like, this is pushing it back way too close. Like, now I got to text this person and say, like, dude, honestly, I go to the bank, right? I deposit a check. It's a relatively large check into my bank account. And I say, hey, I'm closing on X date. I can have it wired to me. The person that was paying me, I was like, I can have this wired to me and it'll credit immediately. And so before I deposit this, I need to know it's going to credit. And they say, oh, don't worry. I go into the bank and they say, oh, don't worry. It's going to credit. It'll credit immediately. It'll credit immediately. Don't worry. You know, and we can cancel it if it doesn't. And I say, okay, cool. And so they say, oh, there's not going to be any delay. It'll credit immediately. And so I say, okay, great. You know, and so I deposit the check. I get home and it says, oh, we're putting a hold on the check for 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, no, I got a closing in a couple weeks. And they were like, oh, it's before your closing, you know? And I'm like, okay, fine. I just got an email saying they're going to put a longer hold on it, bro. Like, honestly, and then she had to sit there and pitch me all these premium services based off of my account balance and all this stupid crap, dude. And it's like, she just lied to me so I wouldn't wire it, and so she could sit there and pitch me this dumb stuff that I don't even freaking need, bro. Banks, man, a problem. Oh my gosh, dude. What the heck, Carol? You hear how many emails? Bro, I got it. I'm sending it to you, dude. Okay, got it. I'm gonna send it to your email. I'm just gonna forward you the email that it's in, okay? All right. Or do you want me to just send you a picture of the page that has it? All right. Well, here, let me go. All right. I got you. All right. Love you, bud. All right. Sorry. Like I said, we're dealing with a closing. What we gotta do? Yeah, but it's stupid, dude. Like, again, I'm genuinely frustrated because I could have had the person just wired and be in my account already, right? But nope. Like, stupid. Like, just dumb, like, misleading. And honestly, I'm about to send him an angry email like, hey, like, what the heck, man? Like, you told me this wasn't going to happen, and now it's happening. Alright. No, sorry, I gotta send this inspection report to my wife. Alright. Whew. Alright. Right, honestly, now I'm kind of, like, I'm honestly kind of mad right now. No, it's not them. It's not. Yeah, I'm not gonna say who I have, but I'm not gonna. But it's none of the ones you guys mentioned. Yeah, I sent her a freaking angry message like, yo, you told me it'd be immediate. I had to go in there. Now it's not immediate. Let's get it really close to the closing time. Just freaking stupid. Anyways. All right, guys. Market's opening up in 8 minutes. Sorry for the rant. No, they definitely wanted another reason. Because, I kept standing up because I don't feel like getting pitched. And she kept, like, she was like, oh, do you have to go? And I was like, no, not really. I'm just, like, I'm trying to get home. And she was like, oh, well, sit down. We've got time. And then she pitches me on all this stupid stuff, wants me to apply for a credit card, all this dumb stuff, man. And I'm just kind of like, dude, like... Well, I'm definitely gonna make it known that if they screw up my closing, I'm leaving their bank and I'm going somewhere else. How's BJJ going? It's going good, Invite her in here and let's all grill her. My problem is just dishonesty. Like, hey, it's not going to put a hold on your money if you do call us. Like, the problem is she called me the next day because at first it was like, hey, first it said, first it gave me an earlier date that it would credit. But she said it would be immediate. And she said to call her the next day if it wasn't, and she would get it fixed, right? So I call her the next day, and she says, oh, well, your closing's after that anyway. Why does it matter? It matters because I expected you to do what you said you would freaking do. It matters because I didn't want to freaking deposit it with you anyway. I wanted to just wire it. And instead, you had me deposit it. And now I got to wait at least another week after the original preferred date of closing just because you wanted to pitch me for 5 minutes about a credit card, lady. Like, come on now. Ugh. Five minutes, chat. 5 minutes. Oh no, I know they train them. I've had friends that works at banks. I know how it goes. Right? My problem is her delaying my closing so she could pitch me for 5 minutes, which will make me leave the bank. I don't really have any loyalty to the bank anyway. I don't freaking care. You know, if anything, other banks I work with have been much better to me, much easier, and I have more of a history. And so, you know. Ankle lock. She's probably a Cowboys fan. Yeah. Yeah, again, I'm not going to tell you guys what bank or what branch it is. I'm not crazy, you know. I'll rant about it, but again, like, I'm not going to tell you what bank. It's kind of a small bank. It's probably the problem to begin with. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you guys. Like, I'm not dumb, you know. No offense. All right, guys. Move it up a little bit. We got the opening bell in 3 minutes. No trade day. It's quad witching day. Just understand volatility might be higher today is what it is. Yeah, we're going to trade live. We're starting to move up a little bit. It's 2 minutes to the open, so I don't want to take too much risks, in all honesty. So I'm trying to just take it slow. All right, guys. Also, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. We're day trading on Top Step today. No commission on Top Step X. Again, the biggest edge in funding, in my opinion. Like, if you're not trading on Top Step X in a funded account program, again, it's one of the biggest edges in funding, in my opinion. They give you a demo, test your skill with the demo. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail it, you only lose what you pay for it. In this case, the base one's $49. The top one's $150. All of that's probably cheaper than you would lose if you put the money up yourself, in all honesty. I lost $4 or $5 grand when I first got started day trading. Almost all day traders lose money, and so it makes no sense to risk thousands of dollars trying to look cool versus $49 for the base Top Step account. And if you pass it, you get a 90% split. It's similar to putting the money up yourself. If you fail it, you only lose $49, much less than you probably would lose if you try to day trade your own account. And if you don't pass it, you probably would have lost in your own account anyway. So risk reward makes sense. In the futures market, I can day trade the S&P, the Nasdaq, gold, some currencies, and patterns are very similar to blue chip stocks. And again, you can kind of see the fees. Like, here's a string of my trades today. 74 cents a trade, the smallest fees in funding accounts, in my opinion, right now, I think. Again, great kind of middle ground of pressure in trading. Check them out right here. All right, here's the market open, chat. guys, here we go. 20 seconds, 20 seconds. I'm gonna let the opening bell play out first. All right, there you go. Ding, ding, ding. There's the open. We'll see what we get. All right, so a Q popped up at the opening bell. All right, guys. So, yeah, we're hanging out. There's the opening bell. Got some green action at the opening bell. NVIDIA pushing up. NVIDIA is what you want to watch. We were right around the previous closing price. So, if we get enough time pass, I might short this run at the open. Tesla's also pushing up pretty high as well. Apple has been running all morning. Yeah, again, and people also have to understand, like, I'm very hesitant to open up emails or anything from anybody, right? Like, I really do have very strange people that get really obsessive over the channel and then demand stuff and then want stuff, and if I don't respond, they get kind of weird. Overall, that makes me guarded. I don't even like opening emails from anybody, and so, you know, I'm definitely not going to download anything from anybody here. Anything that anybody sends me in an email, I'm not going to open it or download it. The risk is too high. You know, too many, like, even if they seem supportive, even if they're good people that have been around for a long time, there's too high of a chance that somebody, like, an example is, like, if I ban somebody for being weird, right, and they end up, look at this big downturn. I wanted to short this pop. It was too close to the opening bell. I was absolutely right about it, though. I'm going to buy this dip. But yeah, an example of this is, like, if I ban somebody here that's weird, here we go. Alright, so we just made about 25 bucks on that rebound. But if I ban somebody that's weird, they create another account and start to act all super nice and super friendly and act like they're just my best freaking friend. And they do this to try to earn my trust so they can try to, like, compromise something down the line. And so, and again, you might think that seems far-fetched. It's not. That type of stuff happens when you run a community like this. And so I just gotta, again, I appreciate all the help. If you're sending me stuff in emails, great. I'm probably not going to open it. Definitely not going to download anything. And yeah, I'm just going to stay protected. It doesn't matter how nice you are, who you are, how long you've been around. It's just kind of how it goes, you know. You're definitely not going to be a mod either here. I don't need another mod, you know. Do you think there's a possibility that Tesla runs up to near 300 during the Robotaxi event? I think it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. We see those very often, where we run up ahead of these events and then after the events we dump. Very possible. This is futures. I'm trading the futures market, guys. All right, guys. I could be the king of all mods. Yeah. All right, so we're right back up there. Look at NVIDIA run here. So this looks very strong for NVIDIA. NVIDIA almost up to 119s. I'm hoping we get bullish. I'm going to buy this dip. A little risky, but hey, we'll play with it. Yeah, we could get choppiness today, and a lot of the time we do. And so we'll just sell if we do. Back to green. Back to red. I like this trend. I'm going to take 2 contracts here. Take a little bit off there. Now at least we got a cushion. Add some more to it too. Now I'm getting punished on the downside. Now we're almost right back up. Weird, man. Now we're back to green. I'm gonna take some of this off. I just took some more off just to lower my size. All right, so we just got a good fill here. Nice little string of trades. Look at my red to green trades here, guys. So these are all my trades today, red, green. Out of the last, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 trades. We have had 3 losses, and they're all pretty small. $4.50 for 2 of them and 50 cents for the third. So pretty good accuracy. Like that's over 80%, which is nice. Tesla's starting to fall down a little bit though. And again, this is why I like Top Step X, is because I can do it with no commissions. Sorry, my dog Bruce barking up a storm. Bruce is telling me to sell. I'm not in anything, honestly, and NVIDIA's starting to dip down. I'm going to buy this dip up right here. Oh my goodness, man. I don't know if something just happened or what. Now we're actually green? You know, NVIDIA's right at that previous closing price, which I'm hoping we bounce at. Is kind of what the trade was based around. That's my first loss in a minute. Alright, so somehow we just lost $5 there. So we got out pretty small. We're getting a lot of chop. I'm not really scaling up my size. We're almost up $100 today, though. So that's nice. Back in the green column. CrowdStrike. Yeah, CrowdStrike is sketchy, though, to be honest, man. I'm just not touching it. Too risky. All right, Tesla breaking down here. It's dragging everything else down with it. I'm going to buy this dip up here and then maybe take another contract, see if we get a quick little pop. The volatility is very high right now, though, so I just got to be careful. We're almost retracing it back up. I'm going to take half of this off because I don't like it. All right, and we somehow got out with a green trade again, so we were net profit on that trade somehow. Ugh, kind of a mess of a day here. All right, so we're bouncing right back up. Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of dealing with bank dumb stuff, man. I don't think bankers, bro. I just dislike them. You know, it's like they see my balance and they just want to pitch. They're just, oh, we want you to sign up with a credit card through us. Like, help me earn a commission. Sit here for 10 minutes while I pitch you instead of letting you do what you came here to do. And then she's like, oh, it'll credit immediately. If it doesn't, you know, you can call us and we'll cancel it. And so then when it doesn't and it says 2 weeks to credit and I call them, they say, oh, well, what's the big deal? You know, it's like the big deal is you lied to me. Ugh, bankers. Anyways, CrowdStrike is popping up a lot. NVIDIA is still battling that 117 level. Yeah, I heard credit unions are better. Yeah, like, and honestly, she seemed a little, like, for lack of a better word, strung out when I was there. Like, she seemed a little, speeded out, I guess is the best word, right? I don't know, she's just pumping coffee, you know. All right, so again, we are very choppy today, and for quad witching day, it's kind of unfortunate. We got another Powell speech next week. What's Powell speaking at on the 26th? Yeah, so they want to sit on it and make their interest. They say it's policy. All right, so we're hanging out. Market's completely flat. Let me see. So yeah, Powell speaks on the 26th. Let me see. Again, I use AI for so much stuff. What does Powell speak at on the 26th? Speak about economic outlook, inflation trends, progress made towards the 2% inflation target. All right, so we are basically completely flat. It's an event organized by the Federal Reserve. See, this is where I think AI gets it wrong, right? I think AI has a hard time distinguishing between this year and last year and stuff like this. Let me look at the calendar by the Fed. That's probably the easiest way. 26. So they are going to be talking about... Okay, so this is the U.S. Treasury Market Conference by the Fed is what this is. So again, this is the U.S. Treasury Market Conference by the Fed. It's the 10th annual Treasury Market Conference. Powell's going to be doing the opening remarks. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's going to be right before the open is when this is going to be. Thought the Powell pump would last longer. Honestly, a lot of people were telling us the market was going to crash after the FOMC on Wednesday. And obviously that hasn't happened. Now it's quad witching day. You know, they say the definition of insanity is continuously trying the same thing, expecting a different result. And the people pushing for a market crash are continuously trying the same thing, expecting a different result. Every FOMC meeting, the market's going to crash. Every big earnings play for tech, the market's going to crash. You know, at a certain point, you think they would be like, hey, maybe I'm getting misled somewhere. Like, maybe I'm so desperate to be contrarian and be the next big market crash predictor like Michael Burry that I'm kind of ignoring signs that I'm wrong every freaking time. You know, like, again, that's my issue with it. You know, you might be like, well, John, why do you care? The reason I care is because they're influencing everybody else. They're coming here telling everybody the market's going to crash constantly, and it's influencing everybody else. Like, rookie traders read that and they think, oh, well, the market's going to crash. And then they get misled into taking dumb trades like shorting Apple or shorting Amazon or whatever it is. And they just get misled, you know. And maybe, again, to clarify, maybe we do crash, right? Like, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not. Again, I think if we do crash, a crash is going to look something like NVDA falling down to like $70, $80 a share, and the rest of the market panicking and following it, you know, and that correcting. And if it does crash like that, you know, generally speaking, I've bought up, like in 2020 when we crashed, I bought up a lot of stuff. I bought up United Airlines. People made fun of me, made big percentages, very short term. I bought up, what else did I buy? I bought up MGM, you know, doubled. MGM doubled within a couple weeks. I had some really good trades that I'm usually very willing to buy up dips after crashes. But if we get an NVIDIA-like crash like that, where it dumps down to $60, $70, $80 a share and it drags the market with us, I might not buy it. You know, I might wait a little bit of time because, you know, that would be too similar to 2000 and the dot-com bust where internet stocks corrected. We downtrended for years afterwards. It took us so long to come back to where we were prior to that that it's one of those scenarios where I don't necessarily want to buy that up if that does actually happen. Just to give you guys like, I'm trying to be objective, to give you both sides on what could happen and what might not. Yeah. People that are able to know when the market crashes don't post on YouTube with 5,000 subscribers. Yeah, I mean, I've got 150,000 or 145,000, so I'm a little bit different. But again, at the same time, I think the more experience you have, it's kind of the Dunning-Kruger, right? Like, the more experience you have, and that's Freddy Krueger's brother, by the way. But no, the Dunning-Kruger effect means like the more experience you have, the more you recognize, the less you know, right? So, point is, I think experienced traders are honest, and they know they don't know when the market's going to crash, right? They know it could be any time. The people who push it all the time are usually just trying to get views, because if you tell everybody the market's going to crash every other week, you'll get more clicks. And so they've kind of gotten used to telling everybody the market's going to crash for clicks, you know. And then when they're wrong, they hide it, they dilute it, they post a bunch of other videos to try to kind of put the crash prediction away, and then, you know, they keep doing it, rinse and repeat. Anyways, guys, yeah, I mean, I'm usually buying up market crashes, right? Like I did it in 2020, made good money. Again, I remember a very famous video I posted. I'll even show you the video, right? And then I'm gonna head out, guys. Again, I've been trading on Top Step today. We're up almost $100. You know, we're up about $100. I'll take it. Very small day. Again, this is trading an account that I'm slowly building up. But I'll show you guys this. So again, if you want to check out Top Step funded account program and futures, to give you a demo, test your skill with it. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you want to learn to day trade with less risk, still have the potential to get funded 50,000 up to 150K with a 90% split. So it'll be similar to putting the money up yourself. But if you fail, your risk is limited, and most day traders fail. You can trade futures, which is the S&P, the Nasdaq. You can trade gold, some currencies, and futures. Patterns are very similar, and the S&P and the Nasdaq move a lot like NVDA. Here's the Q, which is basically the Nasdaq, and here's NVDA, and you can see the price is very, very similar. Very, very similar. And again, if you want to check it out, zero commissions. That's how I'm able to make money today, even though I traded like 1,000 times or whatever. Anyways, again, after 2020, right? I bought up a bunch of stuff, and people made fun of me. You know, I posted this video even, right? So I posted this video, and again, after that, I'm gonna head out of there. But I posted this video, and I said, where did I say it? I said, I'm buying this stock here. And you can look at exactly when this was, right? So this was 4 years ago in 2020, after the big 2020 crash, right? So look, different channel, different everything. So it was a different channel back then. It was kind of at the time I was going to do a long-term channel and a short-term channel. But yeah. So I'll scroll all that out. But I posted this video. Why I am buying United Airlines stock here. And this was May 25th, 2020. All right, so let's take a look at United Airlines. And I got so much hate for posting this video, bro. I posted this video, dude, and people said, what garbage pics, bro? You suck. Basically, like telling me all these horrible things, right? And so again, let's see, when was this? This was March or May 25th, 2020. Yeah, so again, I posted this video, just to clarify, guys. I posted this video here, right? Like, this is where I posted this video, to show you, like, you can't always listen to the haters, right? I posted this video here. Okay, so United Airlines was at less than $30. It was like $25 a share. And look at what happened in the coming months. Within that same year, towards the end of it in November, it was up to almost $50 a share from under 30, right? So I had literally made a really big percentage. Like I literally made 89, 70, 80% on those trades. I don't remember how much I made, to be honest. But by November it was up 70-80%. You know, and again, what's a very ironic thing, like something that I saw happen is like when I first published that video, 4, 5, 6 negative hateful comments on that video. By the end of that year, bro, mysteriously all the comments disappeared. They were gone. They disappeared. They poof. They went away. I wonder why, you know. And so again, that's the nature of the stock market. Sometimes you got to have conviction is the point I'm trying to make. And yeah, it's important. Anyways, hey, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. Y'all be good. I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a safe and happy weekend. We'll see what kind of volatility we get for Quad Witch. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a great day.